3 days after 9/11, President George Bush attended a prayer breakfast, and he said that morning, grief and tragedy and hatred are only for a time. Goodness, remembrance, and love have no end. Those words remind us that although grief and tragedy appear to be overwhelming, we can channel those feelings and celebrate and honor the lives of our lost loved ones. That's what TAPS is all about. Grief and tragedy bring people to TAPS, but what they receive is an outpouring of goodness and love.
We deployed knowing that if something happened to us, if we were wounded, we would come back and we would receive first-class medical care. We knew that. We could take it as an article of faith. We also knew that if something happened to us, there would be somebody there to take care of our families. We didn't actually have to check our 6 o'clock. So for 14 years, our men and women have deployed. They've focused on the mission. They've paid attention to what they had to do. And they knew that back home, they had the support network there. And whatever their families needed, there were people there to take care of it. But I got to tell you tonight, no organization is probably as responsible for that sense of confidence that we have had that our families would be taken care of than TAPS.
And there is nothing more sacred than taking care of our families of the fallen. As airmen, we rarely fly into combat alone. We almost always do so in formation. And everyone in the formation has a responsibility, and everyone has to get their job done. I can think of no better example of flying in formation and taking care of each other than what you do with TAPS.
I saw in the audience Bonnie Carroll here that runs TAPS Tragedy Assistance Program here in the United States. I saw her in Afghanistan here a couple weeks ago. That's reaching out to the orphans and the children of the martyrs, of the folks that have been killed or wounded in Afghanistan. And Bonnie's done incredible work for all of our services. Thank you, Bonnie. And she's taking that to Afghanistan now. Just gave me goosebumps to say that there.
But you see the good stuff they do and help people deal with adversity, and I think that's what life is. So TAPS really teaches us that everybody's going to have tough things in their lives, but you got to press on, and they're there to help them do that.
This example for me speaks to what TAPS really is, and I think it was 2 years ago where I first met mentors who had come to this program as surviving family kids that were this high when their mom or dad had gotten killed or had passed away. And they'd grown up through the program. They clearly had seen the value, and because of that, they became mentors themselves. What they learned at an incredibly young age, in the most difficult, unimaginable circumstances, is they learned how to give back. And I think that's wonderfully healthy for them. It's wonderfully healthy for all that they touch, and it actually gives me great hope for the future in our country, but actually globally.
You are not alone. Just sitting around the table, people you didn't know before. Being able to share, what is it like? How do you put them to bed? How do you say their prayers? What do you do? What do you do when they ask about? Just basically for someone to say, you can make it. So hang on to each other.
And we are here to honor your sacrifice for our country and the legacy of your loved ones.
We are a global family united by love of country and shared values. Your loved ones made a difference for our country and for all of us.
What is unique about TAPS is the level of commitment to all survivors. Your loved one may have not died on the battlefield. They might not have died in a line of duty. You may not be officially recognized as the next of kin, but TAPS has built a sanctuary that transcends those distinctions, honoring all service members who've lost their lives and supporting loved ones they left behind. The National Guard Bureau hopes to raise awareness of this vital organization so we can connect survivors with the comfort and hope they deserve. I know every National Guard survivor connected with TAPS will receive the one-of-a-kind support that only the TAPS family can offer. Bonnie, in memory of Tom, the National Guardsmen and women no longer with us, and all of the lost service members, and in support of the survivors who love them, I'm proud to sign this memorandum today.
The Department of Defense does a great job from the time we recruit to retire, from the time we induct to the time we inter if someone dies on active duty or even in retirement. But they stop at that point, not because they want to stop. It's just that at that point it's really hard for the central government, the federal government, the Department of Defense, to keep track of where a surviving family goes when they've lost a loved one. And that's where TAPS comes in, an organization that helps survivors overcome tragic circumstances, the Tragedy Assistance Program for Survivors. That's why TAPS is so important.